Thank you, Adrian. So, you have already heard from my colleagues about the new features you can expect with regards to vehicle energy management, safety, and security. And I will now introduce what else you can expect with this upcoming release. I would like to focus especially on what new features we're bringing with regards to software updates, especially over-the-air software updates, and application interfaces. So in the past releases, AUTOSAR has already introduced the UCM Master, which supports over-the-air updates of adaptive platforms. And with this release, we have one major new feature, and that is that the UCM Master now supports updating not only adaptive platform, but also the distribution of updates to classic platform and third-party platforms over the newly introduced flashing adapter using the UDS protocol. You also get an improved campaign history reporting, which adds much better information so that you can identify update issues in the vehicle. If you're an AUTOSAR partner, then you have access to the Adaptive Platform Demonstrator, and this already contains, thanks to our quite busy UCM implementers, a basic implementation of the UCM Master, which demonstrates a push case connected to a Hawkbit backend. So to summarize, the UCM Master, which is part of the adaptive platform, now not only handles software update distribution for adaptive platforms, but also for classic platforms and third-party platforms in the vehicle. Next slide, please. Speaking about classic platform, previously the classic platform was basically a monolithic binary. So if you changed even a tiny bit in the application, the entire binary was rebuilt. With this release, we're now introducing a new feature that allows you to split the classic platform into several software clusters. We call it the classic platform flexibility concept. The basic software forms the host software cluster, and you can design and split your application layer into different compositions, which can be independently developed, tested, released, and programmed on the target ECU. The connection between these individual software clusters is based on binary objects. With 2011, with this release, we have like a first version of this now introduced, but we already have a roadmap of more improvements to come here so that you have more flexibility in designing your software clusters. So from this release on, you can split your classic platform into separate compositions, which are separately buildable and can be independently updated. Next slide. There's not so well-known part of the AUTOSAR standard, and that is the application interfaces. Actually, for several years, we have already released the application interfaces, which standardize interfaces of classic software components to enable exchangeability of parts. We have this standardized for several domains. And with this release, we see a new introduction to the chassis domain, the vehicle motion control interface. This introduces a new layered structure which separates between ADAS applications like adaptive cruise control or autonomous emergency brake over manager components, so ADAS manager, vehicle manager, down to sensor and actuator interfaces. We're standardizing here the logical architecture and the interfaces between these components. And this enables you to retrofit automated driving interfaces. This is actually aligned with JASPAR, with the Japan Automotive Software Platform and Architecture Initiative. Next slide, please. So as mentioned, until now, we only had classic platform application interfaces, but with this release, we're actually also standardizing interfaces based on adaptive AUTOSAR. And these are called the ADA sensor interfaces. This is based on ISO 23150, which only covers the semantic definition of interfaces. And in AUTOSAR, we are now standardizing all aspects to make them fully compliant to the AUTOSAR adaptive interfaces. And these are the automated driving interfaces between sensors and data fusion applications or automated driving applications. They are released as adaptive platform services, and the target is to reduce development and integration time, and again, to enable the exchangeability of applications. Next slide, please. So this is not all that we have released, and just to summarize and to also say and tell you what else you can get. So last but not least, we're also introducing support to 10-base T1S, both in classic and adaptive. So now you can use the IEEE standard supporting 10 megabit per second Ethernet frames. We are also unifying the AUTOSAR timing and tracing. So both classic and adaptive will offer unified methods for timing design and verification. And this is also aligned with the ASAM project, standardizing the profiling and trace format. And on ARA-COM, which is the communication interface of adaptive AUTOSAR, we are also bringing an enhancement, the ARA communication groups, which achieves synchronized application communication. And the use case for this is to have a faster mode switching process for adaptive platform. Next slide, please. So as has already been mentioned by Günther, I think also by Rinat, this was an extremely challenging, difficult year. I don't need to mention why it has been like this. I think everyone knows. We just want to say thank you. We have introduced more than 16 concepts. We've introduced notable new features. So I want to say thank you to all our partners, to all our experts for their very hard work in this difficult year to make this successful release happen. So same as my predecessors, if you have questions, please ask them on Slido. You see again here the tag entered. And thank you very much for your attention. And I will hand now back to Rinat, who will give you a glimpse of next year's release, what you can expect from that one.
Thank you, guys. I really